Wayne Williams, and we are right here in beautiful Albany, Oregon. We're at the Northwest Horse Fair and Expo, which is held in Albany every March. Really happy to be here. And we're happy to bring you a lot of highlights from this horse expo. There's some really neat things here, from the Black Pearl Friesians and their dance troupe all the way up to the pony, and well, I call it the dog and pony show, but we're going to show you some highlights of some of the neat stuff they're doing, as well as some interviews with top clinicians and people who are all available to you right here. So we're in Oregon. We're at the Northwest Horse Fair and Expo. We're here, the 19th event. They're gearing up for next year. 2019 will be their 20th anniversary. Right now, let's go look around.
They are our family, and we only want the best for them. No standing water means clean, good tasting, algae-free, mosquito-free, and virus-free water. No risk of electric shock, no risk of fire from faulty wiring. Cool water in the summer, warm water in the winter. Water delivered fresh from the water supply at 50 degrees year-round. Drinking Post Water.
We want to introduce you to Orange Slow Feeder, highest quality, longest lasting, heavy duty slow feed nets. Absolutely wonderful when it comes to longevity, where you're trailering, trail riding, or anything. These Orange Slow Feeder bags do promote slow feeding and great feeding of horses, and also will outlast anything you currently own. Hey, Wayne Williams, speaking of horses, my guest Josh Lyons. We're at the Northwest Horse Fair, and we are here in Oregon. I normally say beautiful Albany, but the last year or two it's been pretty cold and rainy, but that's the Pacific Northwest. But you know, this is the 19th event here, and of course they're gearing for next year, which will be the 20th anniversary of this event. And it's always nice to visit with Josh. I was with you guys in Tennessee not too long ago.
Yeah.
So welcome, and tell us what's new on the horizon with Josh Lyons and the Lyons legacy that you're doing.
Oh, I don't know where to start on that. We've been really focusing hard on trying to get some more products out there, some new products, and update all of our products. Because I've been doing a lot more reining and competing, and the clinics and certification programs. So we've decided, you know, we just got funded as far as we're a state recognized school, but we also got now approved for all the VA. You know,
Oh, okay.
Which has been huge. We've been really working hard on that for about 7 years to get that done. And so
I think we need to tell everybody, to remind everybody, that of course John Lyons is in Colorado, but Josh lives in Tennessee, and then Brandy, your sister, is in Arizona, and your brother Michael is in North Carolina. So they've kind of got the country covered. But when you're talking about your school and everything, you're talking Tennessee, right?
well, no, it's going to be approved for all states.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was approved through Colorado, but
Okay.
then it transfers.
Okay.
It transfers to all states from there.
So tell us what you're going to do with that. Then you're going to.
Well, the idea is I want to open up to the veterans and be able to help them come out more and have them part of the program as well. Because they have the funding to do it, but there's no, and a lot of them want to do the horse training or start a new career, but they weren't recognizing horse training as a career. So it took us a while to go through, and actually we've done the program for 28 years now, and we have about 700 trainers in 48 states, 13 countries, and we just want to kind of open that up where we can facilitate more people and make it more available.
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong what I'm hearing, you've had the certification program and the training program for several years, and there are many good, certified Lyons trained trainers across the country. But now you're expanding it to when you start talking about veterans and things like that, you start expanding it so that it's a broader horizon of the horse industry, not just training horses and say breaking out a colt, but all of the other aspects that the horse can bring to the human, from therapy for veterans to kids to all of that.
100%. Like I said, we've done, we are taking the program and trying to show that we compete. We compete at a high level. We also break horses out. We do problem horses. We do therapy horses. I work with the Wounded Warriors program. I break Mustangs out for the inmate program. The horses, what's amazing is there's just so many different areas of where those horses can fit into someone's life.
We kind of did a study on this a few years ago, but you go back to horses building America. They did all of the labor. They were our transportation. They were the quote workhorse.
Yeah.
Okay, they did all of that, and they were a very necessary part of, and probably a key reason between horses and mules that this country got where it is, was because of what they did and contributed. The other part of that is that now that things have changed, we no longer need the horse because of the mechanization and all those things. They have found other ways, and more ways than we ever thought about then, to help us from the standpoint of what they can do for therapy, for training, companionship. There's nothing greater than watching a kid that's been in some type of therapeutic program probably get to have a therapy tool that loves him back. The first thing that didn't just,
Right.
be a piece of steel or something, So, well, Josh, it's been nice talking with you. We wish you well, and clinics will be here at the Northwest Horse Fair, and we just keep this. I've been chugging around watching you guys for a long time. Now your kids you've got one son that's training.
Yes, my kid, in fact, he's in Texas right now giving a clinic.
See, we've moved into a whole nother generation.
Yep.
Well, Josh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
And good luck with those endeavors, and thanks for joining us right here. We're at the Pacific Northwest area, Albany, Oregon, at the Northwest Horse Fair, right here on Speaking of Horses.
There's chips and bananas and fruit, a couple of rolls left.
All right, we'll see you later and we'll give you a text. Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Francesca.
And she had a trainer and everything, and the horse was really good until it wasn't, but then it buck her off like hard, but then it could go win a trail class, but then and then it would just sell out, right? And then, so I guess my question is, especially for first timers, whether it's an advanced student coming for the first time or whatever, what was your difference in perception after your first 2 or 3 clinics to now? Because that was not perceived necessarily very well, certainly by your trainers. Definitely not by your trainers. But there was a change there, right? From the other side. It's not a bad world or anything, but maybe it's an inconsistent situation you were in, right? But yet you had a lot of help, and it was still happening. So what's the change in perception as far as the instruction that you received?
Psychology, if I could just say one word. They would work on the horse, the body control, the jumps, but they never worked on what does the horse want. I know what this horse wants. When I got him, I had no idea. But now I know more about horses. If you know what your horse wants, it actually becomes quite easy. But we tend to think that the horse wants what we want, and they never do.
Speaking of horses, and guess what? Here we are in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're in Albany, Oregon. Francesca is my guest today. Now, We've got the True Dog and Pony show here. So introduce us to the pony, the dog, and tell us a little bit about what you guys do here.
So this is Spanky, and we rescued Spanky. He's a miniature horse, not a pony, even though I call him a pony. He's a miniature horse, and we rescued him when he was 2, and he's about 11 now. And then this is Dally. She's a Jack Russell Terrier. We got her when she was 6 months old, and she is now about 8 years old.
So, but Dally likes to go for a ride on that mini, right?
She does, and I'm gonna, they're just waking up this morning, but I think she'll, her favorite thing to do is to ride a pony. So, hey, come on. Wow. Yeah, she's ready.
There you go.
Give her a high five for that.
So you guys have, I know that last year you went to Briarfest in Lexington, Kentucky, which I announced at Briarfest for many years, and that is always a blast. And there's nothing that you can't do at Briarfest that doesn't make you a superstar, right? How was that trip?
It was amazing. You were right. I didn't think it was going to be much at all, and you warned me, and you were right. I mean, they were superstars. You know, I felt like Michael Jackson. There were lines everywhere, and the kids and adults absolutely loved them.
Those, you know, they don't see horses much. Briar, in many cases, because they're inner city, whether it's New York, Chicago, whatever, they don't see horses. But if they love them, then their Briar models are their horse world, and it's on the shelf in the bedroom. Okay. Therefore, when they get a chance to come to like Briarfest, number one, at Kentucky Horse Park, where they feel like they're in the capital of horses. Number two, to see this and then go meet them, they just flock to you.
They did, and I think that because of his size, they sort of really liked him a lot, and her too. I mean, not only is it different, but the sort of the younger kids get to really identify with them, and they were the nicest people, and some of them hadn't seen many horses, and it was such a treat for them and for me too.
So you guys do a few tricks too, right?
We do. He does a little Spanish walk again. It's first thing in the morning, so we'll see if he'll do it. There he goes.
Oh yeah.
There he goes, and I'll give him a little treat for that. So he likes his treats. And then I'll do another little trick with them. And then later today we have a show here at the Northwest Fair and Expo. And they're going to do their big tricks. They jump. So sometimes he feels really small and he likes to get up high so he can see a lot more.
Yeah.
And look at her balance. It's pretty spectacular. So.
Oh yeah, the dog just wants to be there.
Oh yeah.
Without question.
Yeah,
you know?
Without question. It's her thing. I think she feels important, and you know, they're sort of like people. Horses, they get bored, and so do dogs, and they like to have a job and something to do, and she sure does. This is her thing, and she takes it pretty seriously. And I will show you their Briar model, but we just got back from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, tell us about that. You were a guest on...
It's a show called Pickler and Ben, Kelly Pickler and Ben, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great road trip, and we got to be on the show, and it'll air on CMT, I think, here next week. So, and then it will be online at
Great.
Pickler and Ben. So, but they're getting to be pros. We've been on the Late Show with David Letterman. We went to Hollywood and they won the Hot Dog Award, and they won a Golden Fire Hydrant. That was a lot of fun.
Golden Fire Hydrant, I like that.
It was the Oscars instead of the Oscars.
Yeah.
And he was the only horse there. It was all dogs, and he stood by the fancy couches for 2 hours like a champ.
Yeah.
So, and they're also going to be on the cover of the new Nat Geo book.
Okay.
Amazing Animal Friends, coming out in May.
Great.
And Nat Geo came to our ranch and actually did a TV episode with them. So, and you can follow them on their Instagram, Dally and Spanky, and at Facebook, sort of their daily adventures.
Great. Well, show us that Briar model.
I will. So here at the Expo, Briar West are here, and unfortunately these are sold out. And they sold out pretty quickly at Briarfest, but it even has he has a blanket, and it has an S and I'll show you right on his butt, Spanky, and they did the S on there. So the kids loved him. It was a big hit, and I'm just so proud of them. It was a real honor to have Brian make a model out of him.
Well, that's great. Francesca, Spanky, Dally, thank you for joining us here on Speaking of Horses.
Bye-bye. Thanks for having us.
I tried to come in and get all over us about the tansy, and I said, well, don't turn around, look at your niches. I said, we put our tansy every year. And I said, but it doesn't help when you take care of your.
We welcome you to the 2019 Horse Fair and Expo here in Albany, Oregon. Welcome back to our 20th anniversary.
Northwest Horse Fair, and we're in Albany, Oregon. Marcy Voorhees is on camera right now. Now, Marcy does custom painting of glasses, and it's called the Horse or Horse's Glass.
The Horse's Glass.
The Horse's Glass. So we're going to watch you, Marcy. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what got you into this.
I love horses and I love wine. So one Thanksgiving I thought, why not combine the two? So I did, and it kind of went viral, and I've been loving it ever since.
So you'll actually do custom work on the glasses?
I do. People send me a photo of their horse, and I paint markings to match.
Well, we're not trying to stop you from painting. We'd like to see you painting. I have trouble just doing a fence, let alone this, but I admire the people with the skill to do this, you know. And my wife is very artistic in this stuff, and I'm not. I'm exactly the other way. I guess that old thing about opposites attract. So you've been doing this how long now?
Since 2013.
Okay, so that's 5 years.
Yeah.
So you should have a good weekend here at the Northwest Horse Fair also.
Yeah, I hope so.
So let's, would you do me a favor real quick? Hold up one of these that's lighter in color, kind of hold it right up to the camera. That's some of the work you do, and you can come in with a picture of your horse and you'll try to duplicate that right on the glass, right?
Yeah, I do special editions 5 or 6 times a year. That's what the unicorns are. And then I have my 4th of July glass, which was a lot of fun from last year.
Wow.
So, but a typical horse, if you just have, you know, a blaze, snip, socks, I just match it, paint it to match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's really neat, so I'll let you get back to painting, and thank you for joining us here on Speaking of Horses.
Premium equine supplements with microencapsulated probiotics and digestive enzymes. Our formulas holistically treat all of your horse's nutritional needs from the gut up. We have simplified the science of equine nutrition while providing highly effective and affordable products. In order to have your horse give their best, you should be giving them the best with Equerries.
The rural American lifestyle. It's how we work, and it's how we play. It's how we learn and how we enjoy the finer things in life. How we take care of our animals, and and tend to the land. It's a way of life. Has been for hundreds of years. Now there's a whole new way for rural America to watch TV.
And actually, we're preparing because next year will be the 20th anniversary of this event.
Oh, that's exciting.
So there's plans already being laid for what's going to happen at the 20th. But my guest right now, who has been doing clinics here all weekend long, is Christy Wasaki. Now, Christy, I know that you've done a lot as a competitor, as a judge. Tell us a little bit about kind of what got you into this in horses, and give us a real brief background, okay?
Yeah.
Did you grow up with horses?
I did. Every kid in my neighborhood had a horse. I lived in an area that was at the base of a mountain, and we had irrigation ditches that went throughout all the neighborhoods that had paths next to them.
Okay.
And everyone had a horse. We played on our horses. I didn't ride horses for a long time. I just lived on them. And then when I was about 11 or 12, I started getting interested in taking lessons and started jumping. I was an eventer when I was a kid. And then I moved to Alaska when I got out of college and to work. And there was no eventing in Alaska. So I thought, well, I'll focus on my dressage while I'm here. I didn't think dressage was very much fun back then. So while I was there and started getting more involved in the dressage and understanding it better, I got very excited by it. And some would say I'm addicted to it.
Now, did you grow up in Washington?
No, I grew up in Colorado.
Okay, all right, because I know you now live in the state of Washington.
Just moved.
Just
and
moved.
still unpacking.
Okay, so where in Colorado did you grow up?
I grew up in a town called Golden, which is on the west
I know
side.
right where it's at.
Yeah.
I do the Rocky Mountain Horse Expo every year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm involved in that. I was just there a couple of weeks ago. And Golden is just west as you head toward, well,
It's right at the edge of the mountain.
Coors
That's
Brewery.
right. That's
And
right.
yeah.
I grew up with the Coors kids.
So, one of the things that struck me in your biography here is, tell us about your involvement with the para riding. I wanted to say Paralympics, but it's not quite.
There is Paralympics.
Right, I know, but what was the?
Well, a friend of mine was one of the coaches for our Paralympic team several years ago, and I got a little bit interested in helping with some fundraising because of her involvement. And then I was judging at a horse show where the selection trials were going on for the Kentucky World Equestrian Games.
In 2010, right?
Mm-hmm. And I got to meet some of the riders. I met some of the international judges. I had dinner with some of the judges, and in talking to them, I got very interested in pursuing that direction in addition to the dressage judging. And so then I became a FEI para dressage judge in, I think, 2012. And last year I became a 5-star, which is the highest ranked FEI level you can be. And this fall I will be one of the judges on the panel for the World Equestrian Games in China.
I was involved in the World Games in 2010 in Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
I was an announcer for the entertainment arenas, not for the competition, but over in the Equine Village. Every day of the whole games over there, but it was being involved with the World Equestrian Games in any facet like that is, really, it's just a check that off the bucket list.
It's a fantastic experience. It really is. This is my first time as an official, so I'm very excited about it. I'm very honored to be placed on the panel, and it should be a good week.
So you've been doing FEI level stuff quite a few years now then, right?
I became an FEI para dressage in 2012 and an FEI dressage judge in 2013. And I'm a 4-star dressage judge. So I've been judging the international circuit for longer than I can count.
Well, I know
fast.
I know what I love about getting into the Paralympics or the whether it's the Pan American Games, any of the games, World Games, where they have the riders with disabilities. It's almost, you almost can't say handicapped anymore. They don't want to say that, but when you have the riders with those challenges that are competing, to watch them, you know, to me is amazing. I've worked with some therapeutic riding groups, and how much the horse can do for them.
It's an amazing thing to be a part of. Some of the international riders are just amazing. You sit there and watch them while you're judging them, and they just are so inspiring. And we've have some great athletes here in the United States, and there's great athletes in all over the world. And they never complain. They work very, very hard, and there's some spectacular riders.
Yeah.
They're really fun to watch.
And you know, I remember a few years ago I was at an event, and this rider came out, and he did a really wonderful presentation, dressage presentation, okay? He did a wonderful presentation, and they said he wants to take a bow when it's over. And I wasn't used to that necessarily, but he wants to take a bow. That was a deal. And after the ride, he pulled up, faced the crowd, and then two people came out with his wheelchair, helped him off the horse, and then he sat there and saluted the crowd. You did not know of his physical challenges until he got off the horse.
Many of the riders, when they're riding, you would never guess there was something wrong. And then when they're off the horse, that's one of the things when we're learning to be a judge, they actually demonstrate to us. They bring some of the more riders that have worse disabilities, they bring them into our classroom. And one of the riders who is a beautiful rider, and I never would have guessed this, that her coach just touched her back on her shoulder and she went forward. She could not keep her upper body back just from that much. And as a rider, you would never have, I had only seen her on a horse, and I would have never guessed. So, and they're inspiring people, and the horses are wonderful with them. They just build such great bonds.
It's
wonderful
amazing
to be involved in.
It's amazing, and I'm glad that you are involved in it, because I just think it's an amazing thing. It's one of those things where, you know, horses, you go way back in history, horses built our country. They were the labor, they were our transportation and all that. Today, they've found a whole new way to be a part of our society and to be just as important to us as they've always been, just for different
in a different way. Yeah, you know? They're still great partners.
Right.
They're an amazing animal. I love dogs and I love cats, but the horses, the character of a horse is just something that no other animal has.
And you can't describe it to somebody that doesn't.
No, you can't. You can't put it in words.
Yeah.
It's just,
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking time to visit with us.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to look forward to seeing some of your involvement down at Triad, North Carolina for the World Equestrian Games this September.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That ought to be exciting. So good luck. We've got another clinic today here. This is Sunday morning that we're actually filming this here in Albany, Oregon, but you got another clinic today, and we wish you well, and we will we'll catch up on how you do at the World Equestrian Games.
Okay, sounds like a date.
Christy, thank you. Thank you for joining us right here on Speaking of Horses.
The primary focus of today's talk will be on the obstacles, but I'm also going to cover the dressage trial with that view of what the judges are looking for. So that's really the focus of what the sport, or what the talk is about today. If my slides would advance, there we go. Working equitation comes out of Southern Europe. It was first created in 4 countries, Spain, Portugal, France, and Italy. And it was designed as a sport that would be spectator-friendly and would draw in crowds. That was one of the goals when they created the sport about 35 years ago, because their horse events were dying out. People weren't coming anymore. They didn't want to watch endless horses going around in circles. So they thought to themselves, what can we do to bring people back to the horse community? To celebrate the traditions of classical dressage, which is what those countries are very well known for, but also field work. Horses being used not to plow the fields, but to work cattle.
That's a look around the Northwest Horse Fair right here in Oregon. We're gearing up for next year, 2019, in March, the 20th anniversary. So join us then. Right now, for Wayne Williams, Speaking of Horses, see you down.